gonna talk about you. So this is our first time doing a food intolerance test specifically for pets. This is something that apparently uses biofeedback technology in order to detect sensitivities. Now, sensitivities are not allergies. Allergies are full-blown shock or hives or things of that nature. Sensitivities may change over time. These things are more prone to overexposure and like the environment. Seeing if those contribute at all to the problems that Eden has been having is something that I would like to find out. I really want to deep dive into this with you guys because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, whether these are something to be trusted, whether it's more of a guideline, whether it's just pure pseudoscience. We use the one from Glacier Peak Holistics. I will leave it linked down below just so you guys can see and check it out for yourselves. But it is important to note that these results are strictly nutrition and environmental based and do not imply any sort of diagnosis whatsoever in terms of actual allergies. I just got the email in that says, please find attached your pet intolerance test results for Eden. Okay, we have a few moderate sensitivities on here. It looks like lamb, goat, and horse. I've never fed my dog horse in her life. I don't know how that would show up. I mean, I guess we do frequent a lot of trails, so that could be something. As for the high sensitivities, duck and salmon. This could have been a lot worse. I was expecting way more protein allergies for some reason. I guess that's just like the most common result is just, oh, your dog's allergic to chicken or beef. I was half expecting to have to switch her food, which is kind of the impulse behind this test. Before I go and buy more food, I wanted to get this back and kind of analyze it. It makes me so happy that ironically, she can still have like a lot of these common proteins. Grains such as barley, oat, and wheat are all on the higher side. Glucosamine, that's something she gets daily with her hip and joint chews. So I'm kind of sad about that. Yeah, a lot of yeast in here showing up. Baker's yeast, brewer's yeast, nutritional yeast, yeast culture. I can see why that would make sense because yeast is highly linked to skin and coat issues. With what the symptoms I've been seeing in Eden, I can definitely see why that would show up. So that makes me feel a little bit more like we're on the right path. And then we've got miscellaneous. Oh my God. We've got cigarette smoke for dog, like, duh. But I guess when you live in an urban environment, you're kind of just getting secondhand smoke anyways. Ooh, and then high on the list, we've got kidney beans and peanut, very common. And also just like, not the greatest for our dogs anyways, just with the research that at least I've been seeing, the mycotoxins and the mold that grows in peanuts because again, they're sitting in these big like grain silos waiting for processing. Even if they're organic peanuts, even if they're the best peanuts in the world, they're probably still sitting waiting to be processed in those holding containers. And that just leads to, unfortunately, a lot of toxins and things in a perfectly good product. Dry cleaning, gross. I don't like any of that. The highest one on here is polyurethane. Nothing in terms of environmental chemicals, which is great, and glyphosate is free. Amazing. That's something that I love to see because we're actually partnering with Ion Gut Health. They are very anti-glyphosate and looking at what it's doing to our agricultural system. They actually have a supplement that we use daily. I've been using it for like the last 7 years of my life. My dogs have just been starting it within the last year. And what it does is it stops leaky gut right at the source by using ancient soil extracts and the bacteria and all the great stuff that's found there to heal your body and give them that healthy soil dose that they aren't getting by just stepping outside, especially in urban environments or just highly polluted environments like a lot of ours. So I highly suggest you check them out because we love them. They're doing great work and you can get a discount using our link below. Something else that's showing up here is grasses. I didn't know you could be allergic to like different types of grass, and the only one that's showing up as mild is Kentucky bluegrass. That's probably what has been planted all around our neighborhood right now. Eden eats it all the time. Flowers and laburnum and just like any kind of pollen, just says flowers. Energetic imbalance. Whoa, we're getting really crunchy right here, guys. I don't know how they test for this, honestly. This is kind of mind-blowing. Includes bacteria and fungus, inflammation, pain, virus, and emotions. That makes me a little bit sad, but also I think that there's just like a lot going on in her world. Her siblings had parvo when she was younger, and that was really scary. They unfortunately had to quarantine and stop all that socialization. I bet there's a lot of emotions there. Where things get really heavy are the additives, and like we were talking about, again, all of like just peanuts or what she's sleeping on, like polyurethane, the stuff she's coming into contact with outside on her hikes, like ash and juniper trees. I was definitely thinking this would be a lot more like food heavy, but I'm proud of this. I think we can work with this, so really excited to see what happens now that we know what to look for and can cut some things out. I definitely wanted to just like process this a little bit, and then I'm gonna go through my whole cabinet and see what she can have yet.
So after getting these test results back, I immediately followed up with our canine nutritionist for a consult and found some really interesting synergies relating to traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. Firstly, Eden is primarily a water element with a subtype of fire. Knowing that her fire symptoms actually started showing up as she got older makes us think that she has an excess of water energy, and it's putting the fire out of balance, which is proof as she's been having increased skin itchiness and hair loss. This also aligns well with the intolerance test because fire is inflammation, and many of the foods that are high on her list all turn to sugar in the body and cause inflammation. So we have to balance that out to get the system back into harmony by supporting her fire with hot foods while also balancing water with grounding earth element foods. One of the main reasons we actually took this intolerance test was because Eden was being a very picky eater and stopped eating her typical foods, supplements, and treats. After a little bit of trial and error, I realized Eden didn't want anything to do with fish, so I removed fish oil and fish proteins from her diet, switched her to a chicken diet, and she resumed eating. So ironically, fish is actually a water element. Now that we know she was naturally excessive in water and her diet was also water, it basically overloaded her system. The good thing we know is she's very intuitive to this, and it explains why she didn't want to touch it. On top of that, while chicken is a common allergen, it is often viewed as a neutral protein. So now we see why her body is good with it. It doesn't trigger the water element that is already so excessive. All the correlations to the test, her symptoms, and her not wanting to eat fish is really great to see. Our nutritionist believes that Eden is a true water element, so it would be good to be aware of what common water element foods are and keep those to a minimum to help maintain better balance in the long term. I really hope you learned something. Stick around for more on this journey into holistic therapies and TCM.